Former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson speaking out about his time working for President Trump. Now, this is a rare thing. He normally does not speak to the public, nor does he make public appearances. But this time, Tillerson is actually going even further. Now, he left his post in March, as you know. He talked about the challenges he faced in working with the president. Listen to this.
He acts on his instincts. In some respects, that looks like impulsiveness, but it's not his intent to act on impulse. It's pretty undisciplined, doesn't like to read, doesn't read briefing reports, doesn't like to get into the details of a lot of things, but rather just kind of says, look, this is what I believe, and you can try to convince me otherwise, but most of the time you're not going to do that.
Jon Summers, former communications director for former Senate Majority Leader Reid, and Lauren Claffey, a former communications director for Senator Saxby Chambliss, joins me now. Lauren, let me ask you first. What do you think of the former Secretary of State? They're speaking so openly to the public about the president. I mean, saying things like the president doesn't read, for example.
I think this is probably one of the most unsurprising comments to be coming out of Rex Tillerson, former Secretary of State. That we could have expected. I mean, he has gone kind of underground for the past 9 months, as you mentioned, but everything he said has been things that people already knew about the president. We know that he doesn't like deep policy discussions, but the American people knew that. They knew that when they elected him. If they had wanted somebody who wanted to go into the details on policy discussions, they would have elected Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton, because they were much more policy-forward candidates. Trump runs the executive branch like a CEO. He is instinctual. He does want other people. He wants to delegate down. He tells people broadly what he believes in, and he doesn't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Is that the right thing for the country? You know, that's left to be decided, but it is the way that he chooses to lead, and it is his style of leadership. Yeah,
I mean, Jon, Tillerson says that there's no question Russia interfered in our elections. He also said that it was difficult to work with President Trump since they had different styles and they didn't share a value system. Here's the issue here. Tillerson knew who the president was, right, when he took the job? I mean, he knew what he was getting into when he took the position. So then why did he take it?
Well, that's a great question to ask him, but I think, you know, I agree with Lauren. I mean, this is really the interesting thing. In any other administration, this would be huge news. This would be on the cover of every paper and dominating cable news. But that's not the case, because this is something that the American people are so used to hearing already. So the fact is that Rex Tillerson, while he said some pretty incredible things, didn't make any news. He pretty much just corroborated everything that we already knew. On the leadership style, I think that's an interesting point that Lauren raised, because Tillerson also is a former CEO, but I think one of the differences is that Tillerson was a CEO of a successful company, Donald Trump is CEO of one that's certainly had its own troubles in the past.
I just think when somebody works at the White House and that they have that opportunity, they're working for America, they're not necessarily working for the man in the White House, but then to go and talk about the White House or whomever is in the Oval Office at the time is almost a slap in the face, is it not, Lauren, to this country? And is it not giving a message to other countries that clearly, you know, he does not respect the president? If you had respect for your former boss, you don't speak about him that way, Lauren.
I don't agree with that. I think that we're a democracy where everyone yes, Tillerson served at the pleasure of the president, but because we're a democracy, that means that everyone has a voice, and there does need to be transparency about what is going on in the White House at any given moment. And I don't think that he was also being disrespectful. I mean, he wasn't bashing the president during these remarks. He was very much saying that we disagreed, but that's why I'm not Secretary of State anymore. You know, we didn't see eye to eye, and that was one of the reasons why I left. And he was leaving the president to run the country as he sees fit. And obviously, Pompeo is a much better personality fit for the president in achieving his goals.
I got to move on to another topic. The Boston Globe in 2015, they got behind Elizabeth Warren. They wanted her to challenge Hillary Clinton at the time, and now they're changing their tune when it comes to Elizabeth Warren and a possible presidential run in 2020. I want to read part of what the editorial board has out now. A different message. Warren missed her moment in 2016, and there's reason to be skeptical skeptical of her prospective candidacy in 2020. While Warren is an effective and impactful senator with an important voice nationally, she has become a divisive figure. A unifying voice is what the country needs now after the polarizing politics of Donald Trump. What really did her in, John? Was it the DNA test? Is that what did it? Or, I mean, is it just that her credibility now has been damaged so much so that she doesn't have a chance of winning?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, I do take issue with this notion that she's a divisive figure. I don't think that's the case at all. I give her a lot of credit for, working hard on progressive issues, things that matter to people like me. But I think the DNA thing was not a smart move. And when you compare her to Donald Trump in this particular situation, it makes it very difficult for her, right? Regardless of what we know about Donald Trump and his loose relationship with the truth, people view him as being someone who's authentic. This has created a situation where she is being viewed as inauthentic, and that creates a contrast that you really don't want to have going into a presidential race.
Lauren, I just need you to, we have to go, but I want you to pick up on John's description of the president's loose relationship with the truth. I'll let you take that one, and then we got to go.
I think the president speaks as truthfully as he can in the moment, and I think that narrative is overdone.
All right. Just needed to get it fair and balanced in the end here. Thank you very much. Jon Summers, Lauren Claffey, great to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you.